In this lesson, we're going to be looking at using strip diagrams or bar models for subtraction and division situations. A strip diagram for subtraction will look similar to a strip diagram for addition because it will have unequal sections in the bars. So when you think back to what we looked at for addition, the subtraction is going to look like that, except the question mark or the unknown is going to be in a different place. Here's one situation. The seal trainer at SeaWorld uses fish to train the seals. On Monday, the trainer used 24 fish during the training session. On Tuesday, she used 8 fewer fish than on Monday. How many fish did she use on Tuesday? Well, our first thing that we're going to do is look at our information that we have in the problem. First, we know that we're looking at both Monday and Tuesday. So those are our 2 days of the week. So I'm going to go ahead and draw or write down Monday and Tuesday as my 2 ideas for my bars. Okay, so I know that on Monday the trainer used 24 fish. So my bar for Monday is going to show 24 fish. Sometimes you'll see the number written in the bar. Sometimes it'll be up above the bar with a bracket. Okay, I also know that on Tuesday she used 8 fewer fish than on Monday. Did she use 8 fish? No, she used 8 fewer fish than on Monday. There are several different ways that you might see this represented, so I'm just going to show you one way. Okay, so my bar for Tuesday is going to be shorter than my bar for Monday because I know that she used fewer fish. So I'm going to have an empty space here that I'm going to mark with a dashed line, and in that I'm going to write the number 8 because I know it's 8 fewer than 24. So if my bars were even over here, that would mean that each of them had 24. What this is showing is that 8 of those are missing. It's 8 less than 24. And so our unknown is how much she made, how many fish she used on Tuesday. So I know that if I have the whole 24, and I know that one part of this bar is 8, then I could find the other part of this bar by subtracting. So I'm going to take 24 minus 8. When I get my answer, I will know that my question mark is equal to 16. So this bar is equal to 16. So the trainer used 16 fish on Tuesday. Let's look at a different situation. The San Antonio Spurs scored 106 points in the first game against the Dallas Mavericks. This was 18 points more than they scored in the second game. How many points did they score in the second game? So the first thing I'm going to do is break down my problem. I know that there were 2 games played, and in the first game the Spurs scored 106 points. And I know that in the second game they scored 18 points less than in the first game because it says this was 18 more points than they scored in the second game. So that means the first game had more points. So I know that my bar is going to be larger for the first game than the second game. I'm going to go ahead and put my 2 categories down, first game and second game. And I will go ahead and draw my bar for the first game. And this bar is going to represent 106 points. I know that my bar for my second game, I'm going to start it even with the bar for the first game, is going to be shorter. And this is my unknown. I don't know how many points were scored in the second game. But what I do know is that it is 18 points less than the first game. So you might see it written like this, or you might see it being a solid block and then marked through to show that it had been subtracted. Those are two different ways you might see a subtraction situation represented with a bar model. Okay, so since I know that 106 is my total, and I know one of my parts, to find this other part, I need to subtract. 106 minus 18 . So I know that this section is worth 88 because 88 plus 18 gives me 106. So the San Antonio Spurs scored 88 points in the second game. Let's look at some strip diagrams for division situations. These diagrams are going to look similar to the strip diagrams that we looked at for multiplication because the bars are going to be divided into equal-sized sections. That's because multiplication and division talk about numbers that are divided into equal groups or same-sized groups. So the bars will be equal or the same size. Our first situation here says Ashton collected 49 box tops for his class. This was 7 times as many box tops as Trevor collected. How many box tops did Trevor collect? So in this situation, I know we're looking at box tops and the number of box tops, and I'm looking at the number that Ashton collected and the number that Trevor collected. So I'm going to put Ashton and Trevor as my 2 bar titles. Okay, so when I look at the problem, I know that Ashton collected 49 box tops. His number is given to me. So that means his bar will be easy for me to draw. It's going to be 49. Okay, and then it says this was 7 times as many box tops as Trevor collected. That means that Trevor collected fewer. And the amount that Trevor collected was 1/7 the amount that Ashton collected. So, if you're looking at a division situation for this, you would have your bars, and you're looking for one section out of 7. So hopefully I can get pretty close to 7 equal sections. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm looking for one of these equal-sized sections. Since I would have taken my bar and divided it into 7 equal pieces, to figure out my answer, I need to take 49 and divide it by 7. And we know that 7 times 7 equals 49, so 49 divided by 7 equals 7. So Trevor collected 7 box tops. Okay, looking at this situation, 56 students attended the music program. They sat in 8 groups. How many students were in each group? Okay, so here's the information we know. There are 56 students that attended. That's our total. And we know they're in 8 groups. So if we're looking at students, and we know our long bar, the total is going to be worth 56. And we're going to be dividing it into 8 equal groups. Okay, so now our question is, how much is each of these little sections worth? In order to figure that out, we will take 56 and divide it by the number of groups we have, which is 8. And since I know that 7 times 8 equals 56, I know that 56 divided by 8 must be 7. So there are 7 students in each group. This has been a lesson on using strip diagrams for subtraction and division situations.